My sister-in-law keeps whispering at me, trying to drive me insane. I have schizophrenia, and my sister-in-law keeps whispering at me, trying to drive me insane. My wife is on her side. Ever since Jessica moved into our house, the voices returned. Before her arrival, I hadn't experienced anything like this for a long time. The whispers only happen when she's nearby. When I asked Jessica what she said, she'd pretend to be worried and say nothing. Months passed with these whispers around me before my first breakdown. I silently cried in bed, telling myself, it's just her. I'm not crazy. But a second breakdown came only weeks later. I told Ashley, my wife, about it. She looked worried. Not because she thought Jessica might be doing this, but because she feared for me. She kept reassuring me that Jessica would never do such a thing. Her reassurances didn't ease my mind. If anything, they made me more anxious. The whispers when Jessica was nearby seemed too natural and too frequent to ignore. I started watching her more closely, noticing how she often muttered to herself when she thought no one was watching and lingered in doorways, lost in thought. I paid closer attention to sounds in the house, trying to catch clear words from Jessica to prove I wasn't imagining things. But the more I listened, the less I understood. Only bits of nonsense. Ashley grew frustrated as she watched me withdraw and obsess over proving Jessica was whispering. Months went by. Despite taking my meds correctly and seeing my psychiatrist regularly, the whispers continued. My doctor adjusted my medications several times to control the auditory hallucinations, but nothing helped. Every change brought a flicker of hope that quickly faded as the murmurs persisted. The more I heard the whispers, the more I studied Jessica's every action. Every whisper, every glance, every subtle movement felt like confirmation she was trying to break me. She whispered just low enough for me to hear, but never clear enough to confront. Ashley watched my condition deteriorate. At first, she dismissed my accusations as symptoms of my illness. But as my fixation grew, the tension in our home became unbearable. Ashley was torn between loyalty to her sister and support for me. One evening, things escalated. I was walking down the hallway when I heard the whisper, clearer than ever. It was Jessica's voice. My heart pounded as I rounded the corner into the kitchen. Jessica was standing there with a glass of water, acting innocent. I snapped. I yelled at her, demanding she stop pretending and admit she was whispering. I asked why she was doing it and what she hoped to gain. Jessica acted like she didn't understand, then started crying and ran out of the house. I knew she would call Ashley. Ashley hates phone calls during work, so I panicked. What would Jessica say? Would she lie? When Ashley arrived home, she was confused and struggling to process everything. She told me it broke her heart to see me suffer, but it was just as hard to hear such serious accusations against Jessica. During the conversation, Jessica stood behind Ashley crying and nodding. I couldn't believe how far she'd take this lie. What did she gain from it? It felt like a sick, twisted game. I stayed quiet. I knew if I spoke in anger, Ashley wouldn't listen. The next day, after calming down, I tried again to explain how the whispers affected me. Ashley listened, but said my issues were too complex for us alone. She suggested I needed specialized care. The thought of a psychiatric ward was terrifying. It felt like Ashley was giving up on me. We argued bitterly but couldn't agree. I chose silence, instead making a plan to show Ashley Jessica's strange behavior so she'd understand. Over the next days, I watched Jessica carefully. Most of the time, she seemed normal, but sometimes she muttered quietly to herself or froze like she was listening to something no one else could hear. Whenever Jessica acted oddly, I made sure Ashley was there to see it, hoping she'd start to notice. Ashley's skepticism faded as she saw Jessica's strange behavior, her quiet muttering, sudden pauses. I began recording Jessica's odd moments, whispering, stopping mid-task, mouthing words silently. One evening, after a stressful day, I left my phone recording in the bathroom. The whispers started again, clearer this time. I heard the bathroom door creak and Jessica whispering just outside. My heart raced. This was proof I wasn't crazy. I gathered more evidence and showed the recordings to Ashley. Her expression changed from concern to shock. The videos showed Jessica speaking softly to no one, freezing mid-conversation, whispering while cooking. We confronted Jessica the next evening. Ashley spoke gently but firmly, expressing concern and showing the videos. Jessica's composure cracked. She fidgeted, eyes darting, avoiding us. Finally, she whispered an admission. She confessed to whispering outside the bathroom, in the kitchen, and elsewhere, trying to mess with me. She said she felt unsafe living with someone who has schizophrenia. She claimed her whispers were meant to push me toward treatment or to leave. Ashley listened, torn. Fear didn't excuse cruelty. Trust was broken. Jessica apologized, promising to get help and make amends. But the damage was done. Ashley decided it was best for Jessica to leave. The next morning, Ashley told Jessica she couldn't stay. Jessica's face shifted from sadness to anger, accusing us of abandonment. She insisted we were her only family, that she had nowhere else to go. The tension was thick. Ashley stayed firm, saying it was about keeping a safe, healthy home. Jessica stormed off to pack, her anger simmering. After she left, the house felt empty but peaceful. Ashley and I focused on healing. She cut contact with Jessica,